Stitch Cutie, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and welcome to the video tutorial for using your embroidery machine and your add-on embroidery files to make the Ewe Troupe Block for August. This is Summertime Sally. Is she not the cutest? She's eating a little banana creamsicle popsicle. So yummy sounding. So let's talk about what you need to have to get ready. So first up, I have the same setup I always do, which is my Caterpillar Glow light pad. Then underneath that, I have my applique glass with my cutting mat right on top of that. Then my handy dandy Steady Betty, and I have my Steam Fast travel iron, which I just love working in the hoop of my embroidery machine with. And then of course I have the prefused laser cut applique pieces that come with your kit. I've gone on and peeled the prefused backing from all of them. And then you'll have your border fabrics for your block. We're gonna set those aside so we don't need them just yet. And I'm going to put my applique pieces aside so I don't accidentally lose a piece. Then I have my background fabric, which I'm going to open it up. It's oversized to what you need. I'm going to give it a nice press. I'm going to use a little bit of starch, and I want to be consistent throughout the entire quilt. So however much starch you use now or on previous blocks, you want to stay consistent through the project. And then last but not least, let's talk about the beautiful sulky 40 weight threads we're using this month. I have white 1001 already loaded on my machine. So that's what we're going to start with and use until we get to all the fun color changes. And those colors are 1177, avocado, and I'm just going to line them up over here for myself. Then we have black, which is 1005. Then we have the silver gray, which is 1218. We have red, which is Christmas red. It's 1147. Then we have the medium tawny tan, which is 1056. Now, if I remember right, your kits might have 1055, which is tawny tan. Either way, they're pretty much the same color. And then we have 0567, the butterfly gold. And last but not least, the beautiful deep Nassau blue, 1293. So as I mentioned earlier, I already have my white thread on my machine. And I'm going to load that, and the machine is going to first stitch a T in the middle of the hoop. So now what you'll have after that first step is stitched, you have this T basted in the center of your hoop. So let's fold our fabric and get it ready to put in place. So like I mentioned before, I'm going to starch it, and this is Montebello solid. So to me, there isn't really a front and back, but you can decide what you're going to do. If you decide that there is an inside, a front and back of your fabric, you're going to fold it right sides together. Don't matter if it doesn't matter if it matches up perfectly, because we're going to trim a whole bunch of this off at the end. So I'm just going to finger press it in half, and then we're going to go in half one more time, and then I am going to hit it with the iron for just a second. And now we're going to put this in place in our hoop. So as always, I put my hoop where it's fully on the surface of my Steady Betty so that I don't distort the contents at all, which means I turn it sideways throughout the video. And also it shows up better on the screen for you. So we're going to line up. We have a folded, and then what we're going to do, open it up, and then open it one more time. And again, we're gonna trim a ton of it off, so if it's not perfectly square, don't you worry about a thing. Then I'm just gonna press that T out a bit. I'm gonna put a little bit of tape. I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but I do like to use 3M transport tape. You can pick it up from like an office supply store or online. To be honest, I got mine at Amazon. And I think you get like 6 or 12 rolls or something like that in a nice little pack. You can use any kind of tape to secure it that you like. Back in the day, I used to use like regular old Scotch tape, like home office tape, and this is just really handy. I like using it, so use what you like. Now what we're gonna do, still with that white thread on, we're gonna put this back on our machine, and the machine is gonna give us an outline of several applique pieces. We're gonna start building out our popsicles over here. We're gonna get one of our little Summertime Sally's hands. We're gonna get 2 of her legs, and then we're gonna get the little accent base and the first beginning pieces of our ants. So let's put this back on. Okay, so take a look at your hoop. You have some outlines. Let's get started. I do want to point out that there's some areas of overlap. So when you see that, what you want to do is either look at the pattern cover, which will give you an idea, or you can also look at the numbers on your placement guide. So let's start over here with the popsicle. We want to make sure that we place down both of the brown pieces before we put down that one yellow. So just going to grab those 2 pieces. We'll put these in place. I do believe they're a little bit different. So you're gonna wanna make sure you get the right one in the right spot. There we go. So what we're gonna do is tap those down into place, right inside the lines. Boop, boop. Now we're going to take our yellow. Now the two yellows are different as well. So you just wanna make sure you have the right yellow. And perfect fit right there. There we go. And then over here we have an arm. This is number 17. So let's get our arm. Let's see if I grabbed the right one. I did, or did I? Let's double check. There's two. Oh, nope, I definitely had the right one. Normally I organize my pieces so nicely before I start filming for y'all. And today I don't even know what I was thinking. I just have them in a pile. So we'll just kind of organize them as we go. And then down here, let's take a look at this other area of overlap. So we have piece number 1 and piece number 6. So what we want to do is make sure we're going to put down piece number 1 first, which is this long, skinny lime green. I believe this is called Summer House Lime, which is perfect for Summertime Sally, isn't it? So just iron this little guy right in place. There we go. And if it wiggles at all while it's still hot, you can just use your nail or a pair of tweezers and just gently put it into place. But that stayed nicely. Now let's get piece number 6 and then piece number 9 as well. And you can always use your placement guide to make sure you have the right piece in the right place, because one leg is a little bit skinnier on Summertime Sally. Piece number 9 is a little bit of a different rectangle than piece number 6. And now we have our ants, and let's talk about the ants because they also have some overlap. For both of them, you're going to put their body down before you put their head down. And this really, you know, it's a very subtle overlap, but it does make a difference in the buttonhole stitch at the end. So let's grab our little ant pieces. And so piece number 2 is a bigger oval than piece number 4, so it's easily identifiable. So we're going to put those two in place, give it a press, and now we have piece numbers 3 and 5 to put down. And number 5 is a little bit more of an oblong, just barely. So we're just going to put these in place. And again, with little pieces, sometimes it helps if you have a little pair of tweezers just to get them fully in the right spot. There we go. And give it a press. And then again, if it's still hot, you can just kind of wiggle it like that, move just a smidge. There we go. That's looking good. See, isn't that placement guide helpful? So let's take a look at what your hoop should look like. There we go. So now we're going to put this back on still with the white thread. The machine is going to give us 2 more pieces as we build out Summertime Sally's feet, and it's going to give us another piece of our popsicle. Okay, so now those are stitched. Let's iron them in place. So we have pieces number 7, 10, and 15. None of them overlap or underlap, so it doesn't matter which order you place them down in. So we have 1 right there. Or actually, that's number 7, and here's number 10. I shouldn't say 1. It's not number 1. So let's just give this a press and this little guy a press. There we go. And now we have the remaining yellow piece of our popsicle. Man, I have to tell you, it's really making me want a popsicle. After work today, I'm going to go to Mom's house and play. And sometimes she has popsicles, so I'm kind of crossing my fingers. She has some popsicles. Okay, now when we put this back on, the machine is going to give us the arm. It's going to give us the top part of Summertime Sally's body, and it's going to give us the 2 red bottoms of her little flip-flops. So now you'll see your applique pieces outlined. We do have an area of over and underlap right here. So we're going to make sure that we put down piece number 16, which is the arm, before we put down piece 18, which is part of the body. So let's get our arm and put this right in place. There we go. And then, are these the funnest little fabrics, or most fun fabrics? How do you say that? Funnest, most fun? But these are the Pixie Dots, like you're accustomed to in every block of the Ewe Troupe, and I just think they're so fun. When Mom saw them, she was like, oh, that's the fabric for the Ewe Troupe. And we were so excited to get to use them. So now, when you have a big piece, I just kind of work my way from one side to the other, making sure that I'm in place all the way. And again, if it's still warm, just sort of adjust if you need to, but that looks great. And now we have the 2 red pieces at the bottom of our shoes. And they are slightly different, so make sure you have the right one in the right spot. So we'll iron one. Oh my gosh, so cute. Look at her little flipper flops. And then this piece isn't symmetrical, so you want to make sure that you look at the ends. Make sure you've got them in the right spot. There we go. It's starting to come together like a sheep. Now it's time to start building the watermelon. So what the machine is going to stitch are 2 pieces of the watermelon. So we're going to get the big red piece and then that underneath darker green. And then we're going to have a piece of the hat outlined. Okay, so now look at that. It looks like you have a big old smiley face, kind of. So what we're going to do are put the 3 pieces in place. Let's put the blue hat down first so we don't forget it. And then we'll start building our watermelon. So just iron that right in place. And these 2 pieces don't overlap, so it doesn't matter which one you put in place first. Just gonna start with the red. And the main thing is you wanna make sure you have it nice and lined up across the top and then on all the sides so that it tucks under nicely under the piece that we'll iron on in the next step. There we go. And now the big green outer part of the watermelon. And again, just get this lined right up. And then on a big piece like this that's curved, I'm just gonna make sure I have it in place all the way around. And then I'll begin ironing on one side and work my way out. So actually I'll just start in the center right here. Give it a press. And then I'll work my way around. There we go. And just hold it. There we go. Then I'm just gonna swoosh it down a little right there. That looks good. The main part here is to make sure it's nice and lined up on the outer edge. So now we're gonna put this back on and the machine's gonna give us the applique outline for all our remaining pieces, which is Summertime Sally's face. We need that, right? The fun light green or lime green accent that's gonna cover this area, and of course the seeds of the watermelon. Okay, so now when we iron these applique pieces on, Summertime Sally's gonna come to life. Y'all thought you were gonna have a video tutorial without me talking about one of the characters coming to life? It just can't happen. So what I'm gonna do is start with this crazy piece right here. And I'm just gonna go around and make sure I have it lined up. I'm gonna go kinda piece by piece, you know, like little jut out by jut out. And then I'm gonna start at one end and work my way around. So let's just get that. All right, so that looks to be perfectly in place. It's gonna line up right on the edge too of your green piece. See, so let's give this a press right here. And I'm just working my way around. See, I'm just keeping my fingers kind of moving it as I need to. There we go. So that piece is on good. Now let's work on this side. And I'm just holding my finger over it as I go. There we go. See, that was easy. Now let's put our little sheepy's face on. And again, let's get it in place. And then we'll just start from one side to the other. There we go. Start right here. And then we'll work our way to the ears. Let's get this little guy in place. And now let's iron the final pieces, which are the seeds. And you're gonna be so glad to know that every single watermelon seed is the exact same size and shape. So you just can put them all in place. You don't have to worry about which one is which. Thank goodness. That's hard sometimes, isn't it? When they're very similar but different. But right here, easy peasy. So I'm just gonna get a few in place and then give them a press. Again, with these little pieces, always make sure the fusible side is down so you don't accidentally iron a piece to your iron. There we go. And let's get these guys in place. See, that one flipped over. Let's keep fusible side down. There we go. And one more. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to turn it around and get to see it all. Okay, here we go. Give it a press. Yay! Okay, let's take a look at Summertime Sally. Is she not the cutest? Oh my goodness. Okay, so now what we're gonna do for the next several steps, we're gonna be doing color changes. So I'm gonna take my hoop on and off so I can come back to the camera, talk to you about the color changes and tell you what we're doing. You, however, at home can keep this on the arm of your machine the entire time until we're done. So the first color we're gonna load is Handy Dandy 1177, the avocado, and the machine is gonna stitch the green part of our watermelon, and then of course this little green accent line down here. Okay, so now all our green is stitched. Don't you love how it's stitched on that watermelon? I do. So now we're gonna put the black, and the machine is gonna do a lot of stitching for us. So it's gonna go around the top of Summertime Sally's body. So of course gonna give her smile. It's gonna do around the watermelon seeds. It's gonna do around the top of her little flip-flop shoe foot area. And of course the ants, and give them some legs. Oh my gosh, Summertime Sally has a face now. Isn't she so cute? Let me show you. Look at that. Cutie pie. Okay, so now it's time for another color change, which is 1218. And that is the silver gray. And so the machine is gonna do our legs. It's gonna do both of her little arms, and of course it's going to secure her face in place. So now that she's totally stitched with her little gray limbs and face, it's time to change our thread to 1147, which is the Christmas red. And the machine is gonna do the two bottoms of both of her flip-flops, and of course it's gonna go right across the top, the red piece of the watermelon. Okay, time for another color. Now we're going to put on the 1056, the tawny tan, and the machine is going to do a cute little buttonhole stitch along both popsicle sticks for us. And I must say, she's just looking cute as can be. Aren't you happy? I am. Alrighty, Summertime Sally wants her popsicle finished, so it's time to change our thread now to 0567, that butterfly gold, aka yellow, and the machine is gonna do a lovely buttonhole stitch around the two little popsicles for us. Okay, so now her popsicles are done, and just like that, we're on our very last color change, which is this beautiful blue, the 1293, and the machine in just a few seconds is going to stitch around your hat. All right, you're all done with your stitching. Doesn't it look so cute? Little Summertime Sally is happy as can be. So now you can finish off your pattern by trimming your block and adding your borders. There is a video tutorial for that as well. If you need any help with that, go on and jump over to that video. As always, thank you so much for being a member of the Ewe Troupe, and I hope you are looking forward to next month. Happy stitching!